We're the only faculty in Ontario that combines traditional liberal arts with professional studies. Here, you can combine any number of programs as double majors or majors and minors. Interested in philosophy and administrative studies? You can do that here.
Nowhere else in the GTA can you find a more diverse and inclusive faculty. LA&PS's culture is varied and vibrant. Our students are engaged in important equity work and community engagement.
The opportunities for academic and personal growth are unmatched at LA&PS. As an international student, I have found a home among my peers. I've taken part in clubs, research projects, and important outreach activities.
LA&PS has many opportunities for internships and work placements to help enhance your in-class learning. I've been working as McLaughlin College's Peer Mentor Network Coordinator, and it's preparing me for what comes after graduation.
Our faculty is at the forefront of institutional change. This year, I was appointed as Special Advisor on LA&PS's anti-Black racism strategy, so we can begin meaningful and hard conversations about equity and anti-Black racism in our communities.
As a proud York graduate, I credit my professors and peers for an excellent education. I gained a sense of self and a lifelong love of learning.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another one of Liberal Arts and Professional Studies program chats. Today, we're going to be talking about our programs within the Department of Politics. Before we get started with that, I do want to take a moment to recognize the land that York University is on. Now, this meeting is virtual, and because of that, we are not all actually gathered on the same space. York's land acknowledgement might not represent the territory that you are currently on. And I would ask that if that is the case, that you each take the responsibility to acknowledge the traditional territory that you are on and its current treaty holders. As a member of the York University community, I recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Takaranto has been taken care of by the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis. It is now home to many Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peacefully share and care for the Great Lakes region. And now I'd like to introduce a very special guest we have joining us here today, Professor Chin, who's from our Department of Politics and serves as the undergraduate program director for the department. Good afternoon, Professor Chin.
Good afternoon, Adam. Thank you.
You're going to talk to us today a little bit more about the Department of Politics, and so I turn things over to you to take our students through the different programs and courses that you offer.
Thank you, Adam. I'm very happy to be here today, and as Adam just said, to provide a little presentation on a little chat discussion about what we mean by the study of politics at York University, why you would be potentially interested in the study of politics at York, where you can find more information about the study of politics at York, as well as contact information for you in follow-up if you're interested in gathering more information. And we hope you would be interested in the study of politics at York. First, let me begin by welcoming you to the politics department at York on behalf of our department chair, Professor Karen Murray. I'm the undergraduate program director. We also have a graduate program director for the graduate studies, Professor Heather McRae. Let me just begin by discussing with you why, what we mean by the study of politics at York University. The main thing to understand is that the study of politics, often in a traditional sense, is thought of as the study of, for example, the government and policy making in government, or parliament, legislation, the creation of laws. But at the study, and those are definitely part of the study of politics or political science at York University. But at York, we also mean by the study of politics something broader, which is the study of power. And power can take the form of government and how we engage with the governance of society, for example, elections, or many different ways in which citizens, people engage in politics and the governance of their society. But at York, we also think about the study of politics as more broadly the study of power. And where does power reside? What is power? Where does it come from? Who has power? How is power accumulated? How is power used? How is power reproduced? Who gets what and under what conditions? That's the study of political economy, for example. The study of power in the global realm. Traditionally, we think of this as international relations or power relations between nation states. But we also have broader definitions of global politics, power operating in the global realm and across many different dimensions. It can be at the level of states, but it also can include non-state actors, civil society, could also be the environment. These days, we pay a lot of attention to the environment, the biosphere, and how humans interact with the environment, climate change, including some of the damage that's been done to the climate and environment, and how we should try to mitigate some of those problems. But also other areas, other ways to think about power. It could be Indigenous peoples, the relationship between Indigenous people and the dominant groups within societies. Or it can be gender relations, or class, or race. And so there are many different ways to think about how and where power resides within society and in the governance of society. And also thinking about politically active citizenry, right? And so York, the study of politics pays a lot of attention to the study of democracy, democratic process, right? And so those are some of the different ways in which we think about the study of power. In that regard, all of our courses are in one way or another dealing with these differing dimensions of power. So it's not only the study of government or judiciaries or political parties, as traditionally it's been understood to study democratic processes, but also these other dimensions of power that ultimately also link to political economy, the production and reproduction of social existence, broadly defined, or the study of identity. Also, migration, right? Human migration. This is also an area in which we can see how power operates as far as migrants. People are new to countries or people moving across states. And so and then these days also, of course, we think about new challenges such as global health. The COVID-19 pandemic gives us a very interesting and important and relevant way to think about power globally. To what degree do we have global coordination to deal with these very major challenges that affect everyone? Also now there's the study of AI, artificial intelligence, and the digitalization of society and information, and the whole digital revolution. And we also have new colleagues that have joined our department recently that have specialties, for example, in cyber and in the digitalization of society. Also the study of tensions linked to identity and marginalization within society, diversity and equity concerns. And so part of this is understanding how power works at the local level, at the national levels, regional and global levels as well. And so these are some of the ways in which, the primary ways in which we think about the study of politics or power at York University. So one of the interesting, the second point that I would like to discuss with you is why study politics at York University, right? In our politics department, we have, and there's a number of reasons. One is that we have a large and world-renowned faculty of professors, over 40 professors and we continue to grow full-time professors with specialties in the various areas that I was just speaking about. And our colleagues, our professors, are known internationally, both for their theoretical creativity, but also their socially engaged research and teaching and policy relevance. And so those are two or three of the reasons as well. We put a lot of time and thought into making our courses relevant to the everyday life of our students. And, to help students become active and engaged citizens within a thriving democratic society. And one other reason is that we do put a lot of time and thought as well into student success as they move beyond York University, when they have to go into the work world and find a job. And we think a lot about the employment skills that our students can gain by studying politics at York. And the types of skills that our students will acquire through the study of politics at York University. And so those are some of the main points. It may be of interest to you as well if I could just give you a basic sense of how our field or the study of politics is organized at York University. We have 5 major fields of study for the undergraduate politics program. So one area is Canadian politics. Second is comparative politics, where we compare and contrast different parts of the world and how central themes, whether it's, for example, globalization or migration or nationalism or war and peace, how they play out, societal conflict and violence, how they play out across different parts of the world. We also have gender and politics in the area of international relations and political theory. Within these areas of studies, we also have subfields: urban studies, indigenous politics. And indigenous politics, including studying of race and diversity culture, is an area that York's politics department is putting a lot of attention moving forward. We have a number of different options for students for pursuing their degree of arts in political science, where the politics department can study politics can be part of your minor area of study or your major area of study. And so if you're interested in that, I would recommend that you try to connect with Lisa Chu, our student advisor in the politics department. Lisa will be able to provide you with some of those details about the requirements and the opportunities and how your studies would be organized over time. What are some of the skills that you would gain from studying in the politics department at York? One of the skills is you'll develop your ability to assemble data and how to use data to think through your arguments and to decipher what is important as far as trends and patterns. The politics courses are also very good at helping you to develop your analytical skills and your communication skills, right? And communication skills, the ability to communicate clearly and effectively and persuasively. This is a very transferable skill that is useful for many different jobs in society. And finally, of course, we would hope that in the study of politics at York, through the study of politics at York, you would gain a comprehensive understanding of the main issues, critical issues facing our world and our everyday life, and how the world is changing and how society is changing. So yeah, so those are some of the key skills that you would develop. You'll also, for those who really become passionate about the study of politics or political science, the York program also, undergraduate program, is very good for helping you potentially think about graduate studies in the study of politics. But there are also other career areas that the study of politics is particularly seen as useful for preparing for. And those are, for example, business or law, media, working in international organizations, in civil society organizations or non-governmental organizations. I can say, for example, that some of my former students in the undergraduate program, political science program at York, they have gone on to work for the Canadian government, including Global Affairs Canada, Natural Resources Canada, Industry Canada, Health Canada, or at the provincial level with the Provincial Ministry of Health. And so some of my students, some of the students that I've worked with, you can see that they've continued on, and they've built skills that are useful for moving on to their life, building their life beyond the university. We also have some tailored programs inside the politics department as part of the overall program of study. For example, you can specialize in one area called global political studies. And we have a special program. You can go on the website and see the range of courses that would be part of getting the part of being the program in global political studies. And we have courses that are first year, second year, third year, fourth year in global political studies. And the Global Political Studies program is really about trying to develop the tools to answer the big global questions, issues that touch on everyone to some degree in the world. And I've already mentioned some of them, whether they be about world trade or the balance of power between rich nations and developing countries, or how the internet affects democracy or social movements. And so part of the aim of global political studies is to be able to talk about how and think about how these matters touch everyone, but are also interconnected in some way where, though we live often very locally, ultimately how these issues play out also in interconnected ways at the national level, regional levels, and up to the global level, and back up and down. And so, yeah, global political studies offers a kind of way to focus in on those key themes that have global sweep. Again, the global political studies program draws on instructors from our politics department, as well as leading professors in the related fields of study within the liberal arts faculty at York University. And yeah, and similar to the broader politics department, again, you'll be able to develop key analytical skills, solid communication skills for presentations, classroom debate, projects, the ability to think critically and in a way that can help you connect the dots about global issues, and global issues which affect Canada and beyond Canada. And so those are some of the key elements about the nature of the politics department at York University, and some of the skills that you can develop in taking courses in politics at York, starting from the first year, coming from high school right into York. And as I mentioned before, if you would like further information on what I've just talked about, you can visit the Department of Politics website at York University, and you can find a lot of information about the way the program is organized, courses, professors, students. You can hear from what the students have to say about the program, why they like our program. I think that the website, we've spent a lot of time to improve the website, as we understand that for younger students today, that's a key tool for information, gathering information to help students make their minds up about where they would like to study in the future. And in addition, if you would like further information, I would also encourage you to consider contacting Cleanthe Markakis in the politics department, who's one of our administrators. And Cleanthe works with me, and we work together. And Cleanthe can be very helpful in directing you towards either providing you with the information that you're asking about, or directing you towards how to get that information. And the other colleague that I mentioned, Lisa Chu. Lisa Chu is our student advisor, and I would also recommend, if you have questions about the nature of the politics program at York, that you can also contact Lisa Chu. So I hope to see you in the future at York University, and thank you very much for your time.
Wow, thank you so much, Professor Chin. That was a fantastic review of the Department of Politics and a really fascinating look at some of the topics that get covered both for the students that are studying and from the faculty members who are part of the department. If you are interested in learning more about the Department of Politics, I would encourage you to reach out to the different emails that have been provided. But don't forget, you can also reach out to us for general questions at goyork@yorku.ca. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at YorkU LA&PS. And I would encourage you, as I encourage all the students who are interested, to apply now. Applying earlier has its advantages, and there is certainly a place for you waiting here at the Department of Politics in Liberal Arts and Professional Studies. From all of us to all of you, be safe, be well, and hopefully we'll see you in September. Take care.